At exactly सुबह के 6:10, Frank Holloway locked his front door and slid the key into his jacket pocket without looking. He never looked. For 12 years after retiring from the U.S. Army, Frank's mornings had followed the same quiet rhythm: boots first, left lace then right, faded brown jacket, thermos of black coffee, and finally the leash hanging by the door. Rex was already waiting. The old German shepherd sat straight-backed, tail still, eyes alert despite the grey creeping into his muzzle. One ear bent slightly forward, the other folded, a souvenir from a long-ago incident Frank never talked about. "All right," Frank muttered. That was all the command Rex needed. They stepped into the cold Ohio dawn together. The neighborhood was half asleep, the kind of working-class block where porch lights stayed on all night and silence carried weight. Frost cracked softly beneath Frank's boots. The air smelled like winter, metal, and distant wood smoke. Frank walked with a slight limp. Old knee injury. He didn't rush. He didn't dawdle. He walked the way he always did, steady, observant, controlled. Habit, not effort, carried him forward. Maple Street came first, then the narrow sidewalk that curved past the Jefferson duplex apartments, a tired two-story building with peeling paint, patched windows, and a fire escape that had seen better decades. Frank slowed there. Every morning, without fail. He told himself it was nothing. Just an old soldier's instincts refusing to shut off. The building worried him, too many extension cords snaking from windows, too many space heaters, too many families squeezed into too few rooms. So he slowed, he listened, he watched. Rex always did the same, nose working the air. That morning, Rex stopped. Not abruptly, not dramatically, just stopped. Frank felt the tension travel up the leash before he even noticed it with his eyes. Rex's body went rigid, tail low, ears forward. "What is it, boy?" Rex didn't bark, didn't whine. He stared at the building. Frank followed his gaze. At first, Frank thought it was fog. Then he saw the color. Smoke, thin and grey, slipping out of a second-floor window like a secret trying not to be noticed. Frank's heart sank. He stepped closer. The air smelled wrong now. Sharp, chemical, burning plastic. Then came the sound. A scream, high-pitched, panicked. A child. Frank didn't hesitate. He dropped the thermos. It shattered on the sidewalk, coffee bleeding into the frost. "Fire!" Frank shouted, his voice tearing through the quiet street. "Fire, get out!" Windows flicked on. Doors opened. Confused faces appeared. Someone yelled, "Call 911. Another voice screamed a name. Frank was already moving. He ran toward the building, pain flaring in his knee, lungs burning as old muscle memory took over. The ears peeled away. He wasn't 68 anymore. He was 25 and trained for chaos. Smoke poured from the stairwell now. Frank yanked open the front door and was hit with heat. "Rex!" he shouted. The dog lunged forward, claws scraping the stairs as he charged upward without fear. Frank followed, pulling his jacket over his mouth, eyes stinging, vision blurring. The hallway upstairs was a tunnel of smoke and flickering orange light. Flames crackled in the kitchen of the left apartment, licking up the cabinets, chewing through drywall like it was alive. Frank dropped to one knee, coughing. "Where are you?" he rasped. Then he heard it again. Crying, thin, weak, terrified. "Kid!" Frank shouted. "I'm coming." Rex found her first. The dog disappeared into the smoke-filled bedroom and reemerged seconds later, nudging a small shape curled behind the door. A little girl, 6, maybe 7, her face streaked with soot and tears. She was frozen. Shock. Frank recognized it instantly. "Hey," he said gently, voice shaking. "You're okay. I've got you." She didn't move. Rex lay down in front of her, pressing himself flat to the ground like he'd been trained to do years ago. He nudged her hand, then stayed still. The girl clutched his fur. That broke the spell. Frank scooped her up, holding her tight against his chest. She coughed weakly, burying her face in his jacket. "Hold on," Frank whispered. Almost out. The ceiling cracked. A beam fell behind them with a thunderous crash, spraying sparks. Frank ran. Down the hallway. Down the stairs. Smoke filled his lungs. His vision tunneled. His knee screamed with every step. Rex stayed at his side, guiding, guarding. They burst through the front door just as sirens screamed down the street. Cold air hit Frank like a slap. He stumbled, dropped to one knee, and wrapped his arms around the girl as firefighters rushed past him into the building. People shouted. Someone cried. Someone prayed. The girl clung to Rex, sobbing into his fur, fingers tangled in his collar. Frank sat on the curb, shaking uncontrollably. A blanket appeared around his shoulders. A paramedic tried to check his pulse. "I'm fine," Frank croaked. "Check her. Check the dog." Rex sat tall beside the child, soot-blackened muzzle lifted proudly, eyes calm and alert. Fire trucks roared, water blasted, flames fought back. Frank watched it all from the cub, chest aching, not from smoke, but from the familiar, heavy truth settling in his bones. He hadn't decided to be a hero. He had simply done what he always did. Same walk, same street, same habit, and because of that habit, a little girl was alive. Frank closed his eyes and rested his hand on Rex's back. "Good boy," he whispered. He thought that would be the end of it. He didn't know yet that this quiet morning would come back to him, with gratitude far bigger than he ever expected. At सुबह के 6:10 sharp, Frank Holloway locked his front door and slipped the key into his jacket pocket without looking. He never looked. Looking meant thinking, and thinking was slower than habit. For 12 years after leaving the U.S. Army, Frank's mornings had followed the same quiet order: worn boots by the door, left lace first, then right, black coffee in a dented thermos, leash from the hook that squeaked every time. The body remembered even when the mind wandered. Rex was already waiting. The German Shepherd sat tall despite his age, grey dusting his muzzle like ash. One ear stood proud, the other bent forward, a permanent crease from a long-forgotten day. His eyes were sharp, steady, loyal. "All right," Frank murmured. That was enough. They stepped into the Ohio dawn together. Frost glazed the sidewalks. Porch lights still burned in a few houses, stubborn against the coming daylight. The street smelled like winter and old wood, quiet and honest. Frank walked with a slight limp, right knee, shrapnel, 2006, but his pace never changed. He wasn't rushing anywhere. He wasn't late for anything. Habit carried him. Maple Street passed under his boots. Then came the curve toward the Jefferson duplex apartments, 2 floors, peeling paint, sagging fire escape. Frank always slowed there. Always. Too many cords, too many heaters, too many families stacked too close. He didn't tell anyone. He just slowed, listened, watched. Rex did the same. That morning, Rex stopped. Not suddenly, not loudly, just stopped. The leash tightened. Frank felt it before he saw it. Rex's body went rigid, ears lifting, nose cutting through the cold air. "What is it, boy?" Rex didn't bark. He stared. Frank followed his gaze. At first, it looked like fog, thin and lazy, slipping from a second-floor window. Then Frank smelled it. Smoke. Not breakfast smoke. Not a fireplace. Fire. Before Frank could move, the sound came. A scream. High. Small. Terrified. A child. Frank dropped the thermos. It shattered against the sidewalk, coffee bleeding dark into the frost. "Fire!" he shouted, voice tearing through the stillness. "Fire, get out!" Lights snapped on. Doors opened. A man yelled. Someone cried. Someone fumbled for a phone. Frank was already running. His knee screamed in protest, but he ignored it. The airs fell away. Training took over. He reached the building, yanked open the door, and heat slammed into his face. Rex. The dog surged forward, claws scraping the stairs, disappearing into smoke like he'd been born for it. Frank followed, jacket over his mouth, lungs burning, eyes stinging. The stairwell was chaos, smoke boiling upward, alarms shrieking, flames snapping hungrily from a kitchen doorway. "Hello," Frank shouted. "If you are in here, answer me." A cough, then crying. Upstairs, Frank muttered. The hallway on the second floor was a furnace. Fire chewed at the walls, paint blistering, ceiling popping. Frank dropped low, moving on instinct. Then he saw her. A little girl curled behind the bedroom door, knees pulled to her chest, eyes wide and empty with shock. Smoke wrapped around her like a blanket. She didn't scream anymore. That scared him more. Rex reached her first. The dog nudged her hand, then lay flat in front of her, calm and solid. She blinked, then grabbed his fur like it was the only real thing left in the world. "Hey," Frank said softly, forcing calm into his voice. "You are okay. I've got you now." She didn't answer. Frank scooped her up, holding her tight. She coughed weakly, pressing her face into his jacket. The ceiling cracked. A beam crashed down behind them, spraying sparks. "Move," Frank whispered. He ran. Down the hallway. Down the stairs. Every step felt heavier than the last. Smoke filled his lungs. His vision narrowed. Rex stayed glued to his side, guarding. They burst out into the freezing air just as sirens screamed down the street. Frank dropped to one knee, clutching the girl as cold rushed into his burning lungs. She cried now, loud, alive, real, arms wrapped around Rex's neck. Firefighters swarmed past them. Water thundered. Flames fought back. A blanket fell over Frank's shoulders. A paramedic tried to speak. "Check her," Frank rasped. "And the dog." Rex sat beside the girl, soot-dark muzzle lifted, eyes calm, unshaken. Frank leaned back against the cub, shaking, not from cold, but from the echo of it all. He hadn't made a heroic choice. He had followed a habit. Same street, same walk, same pause in front of the same building. And because of that habit, a little girl was breathing in the cold morning air. Frank rested his hand on Rex's back. "Good boy," he whispered. He didn't know it yet, but this ordinary morning was about to change his life forever.